What we gonna do right here is go back. Way back. Back into time.
No, baby, no, baby, no, baby. No, no, no. No, baby,
Take your love away from me. I'll go crazy.
no.
I'll go insane.
No, baby, no, baby, no,
One Piece 1188 has dropped, and I haven't actually read the chapter as of this point because I'm recording this like the day or a day before I'm gonna post it. But I was spoiled on the chapter, and I was spoiled on the chapter because what happens in the chapter, you guys feel, cooks my agendas completely. But from what I'm hearing, I don't believe it cooks my agendas at all, because as you saw at the start of the video, I said what I said. There is one thing, however, that I do have to, pull back. Because I did low-key say that I didn't think Luffy was gonna lose this chapter right away. And if you know, you know, and you know he lost. So I've essentially read the whole chapter because I know everything that does happen in it, but I haven't actually read the chapter. This video is going to be me reading the chapter, because knowing the spoilers and reading the chapter are two different things. There's so many times you read the spoilers and what happens in the actual chapter contextualizes the spoilers in a whole different way completely. So if I read this chapter and I still feel that 1, Imu is going to lose on Elbaf, 2, Luffy is going to return and beat Imu, and 3, that Imu will not be a main antagonist in the story going forward from this point, then I'm not gonna retract anything, because I already made my dues and I already put in my receipts for what I would do if Imu won this arc. And when I say win, I mean win. I don't mean him coming in with 5 different God's Knights and them all like jumping Luffy and the Straw Hats and blah 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 blah. Like, Imu has to win this arc. For me to be wrong, Imu has to 1, beat Luffy, 2, Luffy never gets his get back on Elbaf, and 3, Imu has to leave this island having a victory. I don't care what that victory is. I'm not saying he has to get the giant kids. I'm not saying he has to kill everyone on the island. I'm not saying he has to kill Loki. Imu has to leave and look nice. I mean, like, nice, like Kizaru nice, for me to be wrong. If he ends up leaving and it's like a situation where he goes band for band with Luffy after this and then he somehow drags out a win, you're not getting anything for that, because this is supposed to be the final antagonist as far as you guys told me. And if he ends up looking not stellar at the end of this arc, then I win. Because you know what I said? Imu's a bum, a fraud. He is fake. But alright, I'll chill on that because I do have a lot of things I do want to say once I do finish reading this chapter, because I do want to go over the fact that you guys, 1, miscontextualize what I say a little bit, and 2, that I do switch up my agendas, quite often. So I will be going in detail on what exactly it is that I mean when I say I think Imu is not going to make it off Elbaf. But without any further ado, let's get into One Piece 1188. I'm gonna be reading it off TCB scans because that's who I read it off of. So this is how it's starting. Hello, answer me, Buzz, hello, what the, who are you, Buzz? This is Moo, Imu, who is this? Oh, me, I'm Joy, so, reading this first page is like, this seems like they're talking over the phone, which I'm not even sure what the context of this scene would be. Joy Boy is calling Imu. Yeah, I'm not really sure what this first page is meaning. It says recalling a certain day, and I'm assuming Imu is being called by Joy Boy. I don't know why Joy Boy would be calling Imu. The relationship between Imu and Joy Boy, in my opinion, seems very strange, because it seems like these two should be friends, Like, they should be like good friends. This is almost like when Roger pulled up on Rayleigh and it's like, oh, Rayleigh, I'm Roger, let's turn the world upside down together, that kind of thing. Where it's like, I don't know what would cause Emu to... I don't even think it's Emu that turned on Joy Boy, in all honesty, because it seems more like a 20 King situation. In all honesty, it might have been the case where Emu was not the one who initiated the alliance. I don't know, I don't remember exactly who it was that initiated the alliance, because in all honesty, Emu might have just been one of the 20 Kings that was in the alliance. Like, he probably came to a conclusion for a different reason, but I don't know if it was that he was the one who initially came to the other kings and was like, alright, let's go take Joy Boy out. Because in all honesty, he might not have been. If what you guys say is true, and Davy Jones is like the guy who was there ruling before Joy Boy kind of thing, it might have honestly even been Jones who started the alliance, and then that was what took them to go jump Joy Boy. And then Emu was like, you know what? I didn't even really want this in the first place, so let me take Jones out and let me just, you know, try and rein the world in the meantime kind of thing. But let's keep reading. Yes, Joy Boy is already dead, so why dost thou insist on stirring these memories? Hecka Final, okay. Emu's out here using Omen. Huh, he dodged. Aim down. So second page, Emu's abilities, like I was saying before in one of my posts, this reminds me heavily of the Soul Fruit. Like, I had a theory back when I was an Instagram creator, before I even started YouTube. Like, I had a YouTube channel before this, and I had an Instagram account before that. And on that Instagram account, I was like, the Soul Fruit, I believe, was the originator of all devil fruits. This was like back during Wano. Because I believe that the ability to imbue your own soul into like elements, inanimate objects, and possibly even like intangible things, like say gravity. Well, I was having this argument with one of you guys about gravity, but what I was saying essentially was that the Soul Fruit might be the originator of all devil fruits, because you put your soul into an object, and then through science or some other means, that homie then becomes a devil fruit, which is why a devil fruit can pass down to other fruits through soul. It's essentially the homie moving to a different fruit and then giving that fruit the properties of the homies. So with Emu's fruit being the devil's devil fruit, and it's like an amped version of the Soul fruit. Like, you know how you have the Magu is the superior version of the Mera, the Hia is a superior version of the Yuki, like that kind of thing. I think the devil's fruit might just be a superior version of the Soul fruit, which is also why I said I believe that Emu is going to be the big mom of the Final Saga. I think Emu is going to lose his arc to Luffy, but I also think that Emu is going to fight, in air quotes, someone else in the future, because Sabo, I feel, does have to get his lick back at some point, but I don't think it's going to be like some mega mashup battle, because it makes no sense to me for Luffy to lose to Emu and then for Sabo to fight Emu and then beat Emu, or for Luffy to lose to Emu, for Sabo and Dragon to fight Emu, also lose to Emu, and then Luffy beats Emu but Sabo and Dragon never get to fight Emu again. Like, there's so many people that Emu quote unquote has to fight that it really makes no sense in my head anyways for him to beat Luffy, get off Elbaf, fight someone else. He has to beat that person because there's no way he's going to lose before he fights Luffy again. Luffy fights Emu again, beats him, but it's going to be a 1v1 because like no one truly believes that there's ever going to be a 1 vs all fight in One Piece. Like, if there was ever going to be a 1 vs all fight, it would have been against Kaido and Wano, because that was like a true 1 vs all. And Luffy still beat Kaido like by himself. Like, you guys can do the whole, oh, the rooftop softened up Kaido, that kind of thing, but it's like Luffy beat Kaido in a 1v1. Let's not play the game. And Emu is essentially going to be beaten the exact same way that Kaido was, which is it's going to be a 1v1. Like, for him to prove himself as Joy Boy, he has to beat Emu in a 1v1. They were the ones who jumped Joy Boy. Joy Boy didn't jump Emu. Like, as much as you guys want to believe it, Joy Boy did not jump Emu. So if Luffy versus Emu is ever going to happen, it's going to be a 1v1 fight. And it makes no sense for multiple people to lose to Emu after Elbaf and never get the chance to fight him again. Because at that point, it's like, well, did we even really fight for a reason? Because we never actually got to beat the guy that was at the top of it. Like, it's supposed to be Luffy's fight. So I think Luffy's fight is going to be here in Elbaf. That's the whole reason why I think he's going to lose in Elbaf, because it makes no sense for him to get off this island and fight other people, beat those people, and they never get to have that win moment. Like, but let's keep on reading. I'm gonna pause a lot because I have a lot to say about every chapter in One Piece, in all honesty. Like, if you guys have ever read any of my scripts, or sorry, if I ever let you guys read any of my scripts, like, some of these things are like 5,000 words long because it's just me yapping, but I'm just typing it down. Like, but let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. So Imu hits Luffy with like an arrow punch. It almost looks like a Snake Man punch, in all honesty. Aim down. Okay, so Imu attacks, Luffy dodges, but the demons that he's attacking with, they redirect Imu's attack, so he then hits Luffy. That's a pretty good ability, in all honesty, because then does this kind of like counteract Future Sight in a way, because if someone dodges with Future Sight, then they'll just aim to wherever the person dodged to, which, I mean, it's not a bad move. It's almost like Snake Man, except the punches are sentient instead of like Luffy manually moving it himself, which would then still be subjected to Future Sight because Luffy would have to move in advance to wherever the person using Future Sight is dodging. So, cold ability from Imu. Alright, Luffy's doing blackface again. He's burnt up. So the Omen Fire is actual fire. Yeah, the Omen Fire is actual fire. Luffy and Imu is like, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is basically what I was expecting to happen this chapter. Like, for them to be going back and forth. So Luffy goes in, tries to hit Imu. Imu dodges, he basically blitzes him. Goes behind him, tries to stab him. Luffy dodges that. Luffy then does a barrage, Gatling. Imu blocks it. Damn it, I thought that was a sure hit. Imu again uses Omen, launches off a bunch of attacks on him. Luffy dodges, yikes, huff huff. Imu's still going. I'm not gonna lie, this is a really good fight. Holy. Like, Oda's been hitting the past few chapters with like his choreography for fights. I was discussing this with my guys in the Discord actually. Like, last chapter, the whole Imu stabbing Loki thing, one of my guys even said it, the use of perspective, it was massage. It was like, the use of perspectives in the last chapter was great. And the action scenes in this chapter, they're very good too. This is a very good fight so far actually. Okay, Imu launches more Omen at Luffy. Whoa, they're after me, their bombs right. So the Omen that he's using right here, they have faces on them, so they're the soul ones. So these are essentially like Big Mom's homing cannons that she used in Whole Cake Island, the ones that like redirect themselves based off of their trajectory. Luffy uses Jet Gatling to block them. Jet Gatling is a Gear 2 attack, so I'm not sure why it's Jet Gatling in Gear 5. I'm pretty sure it would be Dawn Gatling, because Dawn seems to be like the prefix or suffix or whatever the word is for his Gear 5 attacks, which, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Gear 5 can essentially use all of the attacks he has in his arsenal. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Luffy could probably use Gear 2 in Gear 5. Luffy could probably use Gear 4 in Gear 5 too, because this is basically his base form for the fruit now, and every transformation on top of that would literally just be like him in his base form using the transformation. So the jet suffix doesn't really matter anymore. Imu's surprised. Luffy uses Gum Gum Majin. Oh, I did see this panel because I'm dumb. I was still scrolling through my spoilers chat on Discord and I saw this and I was like, there's no way Luffy's serious with this. But seeing how late it came into the chapter, I'm assuming this is a serious form he's using. This wouldn't be his like version of Bound Man for Year 5 because it just seems like he puffed himself up. But this is like I wonder if there's any benefit to this form. Like, you know how when Luffy gets his awakening and we're all like told it's the power of imagination? I'm like, how far will we get to see it go with the power of imagination? Like, will Luffy get to the point where he's like copying other people's devil fruits because he just imagines that's what he wants? Like, he can copy the Mare no Mi and he calls it like Gum Gum Fireman. Like how people were doing the whole Tiger Man thing for his Gear 4 form back in Wano, where it's like Luffy just basically creates new abilities out of thin air. it's not really related to rubber. Like Luffy becomes a Majin and now he can grant you 3 wishes because he just imagines he can, because now he's a genie. Like this form, it's not a bad design. It looks alright. I know guys were clowning on it before, but it's like, I mean, it's a One Piece form. It looks funny. It looks kind of cold, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like if the skin is like the same color as Luffy's skin in Gear 5 and then the hair is white, I could see this looking like a pretty decent form. Especially if the turban's white, you know, purple, gold. I like the white, purple, gold color scheme for Gear 5 because that's like, to me, that's like the most powerful design you can have for like a final form for a character. It's like Ultra Instinct or Ichigo's White Zangetsu. Like those are like cold power forms. Like even Sage of Six Paths for Naruto, like the all gold cloak. I'm not talking about like the Baryon mode red one. I'm talking about like Sage of Six Paths, like the one he used at the end of the main series. Like those are like cold forms, like cold final power-ups. So I really hope that this one keeps the white, gold, and purple color scheme and that they don't add weird colors in here. But continuing on. Ho ho ho, don't think I missed what happened in your fight with Loki. Okay, I'm not gonna let his death go to waste. Did Loki die last chapter? You know what would be crazy if Loki actually died last chapter? Because I literally said I thought Imu was gonna kill Loki. Did I say that? I don't remember if I said that, but I did say that Loki was gonna die. But it's funny, Luffy saying I'm not gonna let his death go to waste. That's hilarious. I'm still alive, Jackass K. Alright, okay. You know, gotta keep reading. Oh, you're still kicking. This dude genuinely, did he actually think Loki was dead? Oh my days. Imu's just there, like, just waiting for the fight to start again. He's like, alright, he hits him with the Omen Blast. Imu loves spamming this attack, holy. Damn it all, squeak squeak, get out of the way, Ragnar. Jinbei blocks for Ragnar, holy. Oh my god, Jinbei blocked that? Isn't this the same attack that one-shot Zoro? You know, this is why I said, bro, Jinbei, he's low-key the sleeper right-hand man, you know? Zoro's the second strongest, but the true right-hand man, it's low-key Jinbei. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been saying this since like Wano. Like Jinbei is the right-hand personality. Sanji is like the right hand for the crew type figure, and Zoro's like the right hand strength-wise. All of the 3 like top commander figures for the Straw Hats, they low-key all could be Luffy's right hand. I'm not gonna lie to you. Jinbei, I'm glad Jinbei got defeated this chapter, because low-key y'all be clowning on Jinbei for no reason, bro. Okay, Luffy giving Jinbei his props. Luffy, just say the word and I'll protect him for you. Cold from Jinbei. Thanks, he's my buddy. I'll leave him to you, Jinbei. Okay, Ragnar Faga. You know, I love to see the Jinbei glaze, bro. People be hating on Jinbei too much, man. Jinbei is actually cold, bro. Loki's like, who are you calling buddy? Freaking runt. Alright, now that I can focus, I'll handle this guy. Luffy making cop-out excuses, talking about now I can focus. Imu's literally just standing there, like, it's crazy. It's crazy how Imu's just letting him get this off mid-fight. He's just standing there like... It's crazy, man. Luffy, he's fighting that guy from earlier. Is he okay? Or sorry, is he gonna be okay? Who the hell is he up against? He's clearly ranked higher than the Knights, coming from Brook. But I thought only the 5 elders were above them. He could just be the head of the God's Knights. That's gotta be it. The world government is always shrouded in mystery. Okay? Hey, Brook, we've got to get back. Princess Shuri. What should we do? How do we deal with a frozen person? Well, there was that time Robin and Luffy were frozen. Cold callback for Aokiji, you know? Yeah, I was tripping on the Aokiji being in Elbaf because I actually misread that scene completely. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's certain scenes in the manga chapters where I just skip over them because it's like, nothing's going on here. So, you know, I do want to apologize for that in the past, you know? Like, I apologize for that in the past. Okay. Gunko, thou hast yet to break the ice. Gum Gum. A man with an afro who refers to Gunko as Princess Shuri. It cannot be. This guy really remembers Brook? That's crazy. Imu actually remembered Brook. That's hilarious to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That he actually even remembers Brook. Okay. Gum Gum. Sucker punching bullet. Imu blocks it. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of looks nice. This does look like a nice punch. Did thou not just brag? Sorry, this is weird to me. I hate how Imu just talks like so slow. Didst thou not just boast about seeing what became of Loki and his gargantuan body? Okay, and then he uses Stigma on Luffy, but Luffy dodges it. He uses the same attack again. This guy's just spamming this attack, bro. Luffy's running away, dodging. Gosh. Okay, then Imu pulls up and he uses Sword of the Wailing Void. I wonder if this was the one, like, you know, they had those 20 swords that they put around the empty throne. I wonder if this is like his actual sword, because we did see that one sword in the Holy Land, like next to Imu. It doesn't look like this one. Let me actually go look at that real quick. Imu's sword. So looking at the silhouette of that one and the silhouette, it low-key might actually be the same sword that we saw in the Holy Land, because the guard and the hilt is similar. So it would make sense that he can like teleport the sword to him, because he can teleport himself. So it makes sense. So Sword of the Wailing Void, Imu pulling out the sword. You know, people are gonna tell me Mihawk upscale, Mihawk upscale. I'm not gonna lie, this is like a Mihawk downscale. Like, this is low-key a Mihawk downscale, because we all know Mihawk's not stronger than Imu. Let's be for real. Unless Shanks comes to Elbaf and beats Imu off Elbaf, which even at that point, this is a nerfed Imu. It's like Imu being the swordsman just makes Mihawk look even worse now. And it also makes Zoro look even worse, because Zoro is not going to beat Imu. And low-key, I don't even think Zoro is even going to be as strong as Imu by the end of the story. So Oda making Mihawk a swordsman is a bold choice, to say the least. This is definitely a bold choice. So the kanji read Void/Emptiness Sword. You know, Sword of the Wailing Void. Pandemonium of the Abyss from Rocks. Blackbeard being a black hole, you know. The Void themes for attacks and abilities coming into the story. Like, this, in all honesty, just continues to like validate me that Blackbeard is going to be the final antagonist, because he is literally the Void. Imu's the devil, sure, but Blackbeard is the Void itself. I don't believe that Imu's ability is going to be taken by Blackbeard. I mean, if it does, cool, I guess, but we're seeing so much from Imu. Like, even in this chapter, we're seeing so much from Imu. And Blackbeard getting an ability that we've already seen, it doesn't make sense to me, but I digress again. This is a nice panel, holy. I'm talking about the one in the double page spread, where the trees are like spiraling around and Imu's just standing there. That looks nice, huh? The forest is wilting. So his aura is literally just killing the forest. The view is improving, Imu says. It looks fine from here. Imu goes out and says, "It is clear thou art not Joy Boy." Boom, stabs him. God, Joy Boy would never be this weak. The majestic power of the king of the world. Chapter ends. Now, this is why I'm glad I read the chapters and I don't just go off of what you told me. Because if I just went off of what you guys told me, I would have thought that Luffy got one shot quick in this chapter. These guys had a whole chapter of fighting, and then Imu got him. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, this is literally just the crocodile scene all over again. Like, Crocodile and Luffy had an extended fight. It's not really like an actual fight, but they had like a full few chapters of fighting before Crocodile actually took Luffy out. Like, in all honesty, this just validates me even more, because now, while I did say, I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't say it, I did say that I didn't think Luffy was gonna lose this chapter, because I thought it was gonna be a full fight. But everything that happened in this chapter before the last panel of Luffy losing, obviously, this is literally exactly what I thought was going to be happening in this chapter. Luffy getting done like this by Imu, this is like crazy. Like, I don't think we've seen a panel this gory in ever. Like, I don't think we've ever seen a panel like this. I don't think we've ever seen a panel like this at all in One Piece, like, ever. I can't remember a scene in One Piece that looks like this gory. Like, there are scenes where you can be like, oh, it hints at being gory, but Oda like hides it. But this is like, there's nothing silhouetted here. Like, this scene in the anime is gonna look gruesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. But oh yeah, this is gonna look gruesome in the anime. Luffy's wide-eyed, skewered straight through. Oh my god. Oh, Lee, I see why you guys are glazing this panel. Like, this reminds me of like the Gunko scene before Chopper stitched their fingers back together and negated the stakes altogether. But it's like, this, in all honesty, to me at least anyway, this does not feel like the end of the fight between Luffy and Imu on Elbaf even. Because we literally had this exact same thing happen in Alabasta with Crocodile. Like, you guys telling me, bro, this proves that you were wrong, you lost, blah, 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 whatsoever. It's like, it really doesn't though. Because what I said was that Imu was going to lose on Elbaf. Imu can still lose on Elbaf. Because next chapter, what we have to find out now that this has happened is how does Imu not kill Luffy after this? Because now he literally skewered him straight through. How is he now not going to kill Luffy after this? The only things I can see happening are, one, he just takes pity on Luffy and he leaves altogether because he's like, you know what? You ate the Nika fruit, but you're not even Joy Boy. And then maybe we find out that people in the past have eaten the Nika fruit and awakened it, and they weren't Joy Boys. So Imu's like, you know what? You're another fake Joy Boy. I don't even gotta worry about you like that. I'll just let you bleed out and die. And then Luffy gets saved because of Mickey stuff. Like, that would be the plot armor way of saving Luffy. The next way I can see Luffy being saved is somebody who is heading to Elbaf. They landed on Elbaf, and then they just come in next chapter, either like the end of the chapter, like maybe the Straw Hats like hold Imu off for a little bit, or Ragnar comes in and holds Imu off for a little bit, and then at the end of the chapter someone shows up and he's like, bing, like they block Imu's sword, and it's like, alright, I'm here now, get off the island. Like maybe Shanks, maybe Dragon. I don't think Blackbeard, like it would make no sense for Blackbeard to come here. Yeah, it really could only be Shanks and Dragon at this point. Or at least only for the characters who would logically make sense to be strong enough to hold Imu off and get him off the island. And 3, the other option I see is that Loki finally uses his hybrid form, because it makes no sense to me that he hasn't used his hybrid form at all before this, because we know he has access to his hybrid form. Every Zoan has access to their hybrid form. Like, Loki has had this fruit for 6 years, and he chose not to use his hybrid form at any point during the fight with Imu. So now, if anything, that Luffy is now out, it makes sense for us to see Loki use his hybrid form and for us to get it in full next chapter, and then that sends Imu off the island. Like, those are the only things I can see for him not killing Luffy next chapter. But Raftel, if he gets sent off the island, then don't you lose? No, because Loki, well, I don't lose in my mind, because I think there's one thing that could happen that sends Imu away from this fight without sending him off Elbaf, and that's him going to the Heaven Realm. The reason why I think Imu would get sent to the Heaven Realm is because it's high above the clouds, and Loki, it should be on a similar elevation to what Marie-Joie is. So if it's a thing where, say, Imu being in the lower world weakens him completely, then I think Imu would go to the Heaven Realm to recoup a little bit. Because it might be the case, because Imu and Luffy were low-key putting, well, not the beats, well, Loki was putting the beats on Imu, but actually, as a matter of fact, yeah, Loki did way better in his base form against Imu than Luffy did in Gear 5 against Imu. So even the whole Loki is weaker than Gear 5 argument doesn't even really work here, unless you want to say that Imu's trying way harder against Luffy than he is against Loki, but I digress. Back to the main point. Imu, I believe, is going to be shown to be too weak to teleport back to Marie-Joie right away. Like, he's going to have a stamina drain, and he won't be able to go directly back to Marie-Joie after beating Luffy. And instead, he's going to go into the Heaven Realm and just sit out and wait out there until he recoups his stamina, and then he'll go back to Marie-Joie. That way, Imu is 1, still on Elbaf. That way, Luffy can still beat him on Elbaf. 2, we actually get to explore the Heaven Realm, because it makes no sense that all of this happens, this is the end of Elbaf, and we literally don't see 1/3 of the entire island. Like, there's so many more things that we need to do in this arc, because Usopp needs to do something. From what we're seeing, Sanji needs to get Conqueror's Haki. It might not be in this arc, like it doesn't need to be in this arc, but Sanji is going to get Conqueror's Haki, and it would make sense if he gets it in the arc, like 2 arcs after Zoro gets it, so that way, you know, it like keeps the rivalry going. Like, if he waits like a 3rd arc and then gets it, Zoro should have like blown by him Conqueror's Haki wise, and then it makes no sense for Sanji to catch up to where Zoro is already. And also another thing us going into the Heaven Realm would accomplish is us finally seeing Urouge. Because Urouge, like, where is this guy? Where is this guy? He's the last supernova we have to meet, and we have no idea where he is right now. Last time we saw him, he was on Balloon Terminal. Next time we see him, I think it's going to be in the clouds above the Heaven Realm. And then he's going to come down and maybe even see Imu. Maybe have conversation with Imu, because I don't even think Imu's the kind of guy that would be like kill on sight in every situation, because now people have seen him. Like people, well, it's not even that people have seen him, it's that seeing him outside of the throne room, you wouldn't even really know what Imu is. Like you just see Imu and be like, oh shit, that's I'd be like, oh, that's a really strong dude. You know what, let me stay on this side of the road. You know, you can walk over there. And Imu's like, all right, stay on your side of the road, I'll stay on my side. Because Imu, he doesn't even feel like he's gonna be smoking everyone who saw him on Elbaf. Like so many people have seen him on Elbaf. So in this instance, I think Orochi could like see Imu, maybe even talk to him, and then he'll be like the guy in Alabasta who gave Luffy water before Luffy fought Crocodile. Like he'll be able to give him some pointers, maybe some tips, and be like, you know, this guy, I felt like a strange vibe from him, and low-key kind of reminds me of this guy I used to know in the past. And they'll foreshadow, by the way. And then Luffy that way gets to have some more exposition on Imu before he fights him the final and last time. Because I think that this arc is going to be where Imu loses, because after reading the mural on Elbaf, I think that mural is going to be stuff that happens in Elbaf. The reason I think it's going to be stuff that happens in Elbaf is because literally no one else that should be important in the final war is even on that mural. And based off of what Imu told us about him fighting Dozan in the past 800 years, and us seeing that one king, because everyone was like, how does this make sense? This dragon looks like Loki, but Loki is here. And this guy kind of looks like Imu, but this demon has to be Imu. It's like, there's so many people that repeat on this. I keep using air quotes. I don't know why I keep using air quotes. There's so many people that repeat in the mural, to me, where it feels like these are just characters that show up at different points in history. Because we must remember, the person who wrote the mural altogether was a kid. And us finding out in Elbaf that Imu attacked Elbaf 800 years ago and was going after the kids, it makes me think that the kid wrote the mural as Imu was attacking Elbaf. Like, Dozan protecting them, and then Imu coming in and attacking, trying to steal the kids, that kind of thing. Because maybe he was even trying to steal that specific kid. Because you know how Charlie is like a one in a lifetime kind of kid, where it's like she can see the future, and it's not even like future sight, like she can actually see the literal decades in advance future. Like Imu might have wanted that ability for himself, because one, giants live longer than humans do, so theoretically that giant kid would live a lot longer than, say, even Charlie could. And Imu having a giant kid that could see the future would then benefit him, because that kid could see like centuries into the future. Like that would be a valuable asset for Imu to have. So that makes sense why he would have attacked Elbaf the 800 years ago when that kid was alive, and why that kid would then draw the mural. From the standpoint of the child who wrote the mural, they would have been writing past, present, and future. Because the past would have been the third or the first world with the red line serpent, that kind of thing. The second world would be their present, because Dozan is the one on the Elbaf tree, he's the dragon, Imu's coming in attacking them, and then that would be their present. And then the future would be Imu attacking Elbaf again, and Loki and Luffy being there, and then all of the other allies coming in. And you guys look at me crazy when I say that, but think about it logically. The Minx, or most of the Minx, should still be near Wano, because Zunisha should still be near Wano. Lunarians that we see on the mural, those could be one the Seraphim or two King, who are both on Wano, which isn't even that far from Elbaf, and on Egghead, which isn't even that far from Elbaf. Shirahoshi, if Shirahoshi is Mosa, and it's revealed that Mosa is Shirahoshi, then Poseidon, the mermaid that we see on that mural, I think would be Shirahoshi. We also see Alabasta's flags on that mural. Remember, Morgans and Vivi are flying around the world right now. Them landing in the Heaven Realm or wanting to fly close to Elbaf because they just want to visit Elbaf. Maybe they track Luffy's trajectory and they're like, Luffy should be in Elbaf. Let me go and harbor with Luffy for a while, because you know Luffy's my crewmate. I'm Luffy's crewmate. He can protect me. They fly to Elbaf and then they end up landing in the Heaven Realm while Imu is fighting. Imu and Vivi get their confrontation that way, and it explains the Alabasta flags that we see in the mural. We see the Minx, we see a whale, which could be, I don't think it's Laboon, because Brook meeting Laboon again before sailing back around would make no sense. So it could be the Minks, the Lunarians, the Mermaids. Let me see the mural again so I can confirm what exactly it is. So on this mural we see Loki, the Minks, we see Emeth, we see a giant. Giants are obviously in Elbaf. We see a whole bunch of ships sailing. We see a samurai figure, which, like I said, Wano is just near Elbaf. And we see a Mink in Sulong. That could happen too. So literally all of the figures that we see fighting Imu or going to attack Imu in Elbaf, those could all literally be characters from the last 3 arcs that we've seen. And the reason why I think it would be the last 3 arcs that we've seen is because 3 arcs ago, Imu was introduced into the story. Wano started, Imu was revealed like 10 chapters before Wano. Egghead started next. We see Imu in Elbaf with him doing the thug shaker after Jobu's Conqueror's Haki hits him. Emeth was also revealed in that arc. And then in Elbaf, we get the Giants. So every arc since Imu has been introduced, all of the figures that Luffy encountered in those arcs leading up to Elbaf are now in the mural. Which, like, I don't see this being like the final war. Because where are the Revs? Where's Blackbeard? Where's Akainu? Where's X, Y, and Z? Where are the rest of the Holy Knights? Where is Shamrock? Where is Garling? Where is Shanks? Where is like anyone else who is important in this mural besides Luffy, Loki, and Imu? Like, it makes no sense for this to be the final war panel when even in the Race to the One Piece panel in Egghead, we see so many characters that don't show up in here at all. Like, there are no Navy flags here. There's no Yonko hints. There's no revolutionary hints. Like, this, I think, is going to be what happens in Elbaf. Even the whole burning side of their world, the third world, and the fight against Imu, like, that could even be Elbaf burning down, because we know the story of Ragnarok, how Elbaf is supposed to be Norse, how it's supposed to be representing Norse mythology, that kind of thing. Like, Imu being the big demon, Surtur, and getting defeated on Elbaf before Ragnarok can start, like Luffy's stopping Ragnarok, that would literally be like all Elbaf parallels. Like Imu having the Devil's Fruit, being the Surtur who is about to plunge the world into chaos, like even the giant sword on Elbaf. Is it that crazy for us to say that Imu can grow to that size, use that sword, and just say, you know what? I'm sick and tired of Elbaf. Let me just destroy Elbaf altogether. Like how in Marvel when Surtur like plunged the sword through Asgard and the island just blew up, like that kind of thing, which would explain the giant sword on Elbaf. You see where I'm going with this? Like, you guys hear me say certain things and think I'm just saying it just to say it. Like, these are thoughts I have in my head because I legitimately believe that these things could happen, and you guys don't believe it could happen, and you cook me and you try to clown me because you're like, oh bro, that makes no sense. Oda would never do that. Oda has done crazier things. You know, if this was supposed to be like the Kaido, like if Imu was supposed to be like Kaido in this chapter, he would have one-shot Luffy like 10 pages into this chapter, or let me not say 10 because this chapter might have actually been 10 pages. Let's see how many pages this chapter was before Imu one-shot Luffy. So, not counting the cover page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 pages into the chapter. At the end of the chapter, this isn't even a one-shot. Like, Imu didn't even actually one-shot Luffy, because they had an extended fight this entire time before this. This is like saying that Kaido one-shot Luffy with Ragnarok. He didn't one-shot Luffy, he just overpowered Luffy. Like, this does not read as a fight him and wait till next arc kind of fight. This feels more of a fight him, Haki Bloom from a loss you just took, and then beat him again. Maybe Luffy even loses a second time to him like he did with Crocodile, and then beats him on the third try. Like, this does not read to me as a fight that needs to happen at the end of the story. Because low-key, Luffy was holding his own for a decent amount of time. And we do know that Luffy has to be stronger, obviously, because Luffy still has to prove himself to Shanks, Luffy still has to be Pirate King, Luffy still has to beat everyone in the story to become Pirate King, because the Pirate King is the person who is stronger than everyone. Like, Luffy is going to get stronger after this, and if he gets stronger after this and Imu is still in Elbaf, then the next fight they have is going to be much closer than this fight was. Especially now, since Luffy takes Imu seriously. Like, Luffy clearly was not taking Imu... Well, Gear 5 never takes anyone seriously, so I'll retract that, but Luffy now has to lock in. Like, this reads to me as more of a fight that's going to happen like later in this arc, because this arc I still feel has a lot more length to stretch out into, because we still have a lot more stuff to find out. Gabon still has some exposition to give us. Gabon could even give us some exposition on Imu after Luffy has lost, because now we need to find out what the Roger Pirates actually saw on Laugh Tale. Because Gabon has felt Imu's presence, he's probably even seen Imu at this point, and now he sees the Holy Knights amped up, and there's no way he doesn't say anything after seeing Luffy get nearly killed on Elbaf, seeing Loki nearly get killed. Like, Gabon has to give us some information too about this. So there's a lot more stuff I feel like we have to find out in this arc. And this brings me back to a thing I was saying in my Discord, like during the spoilers, where it's like, if Oda was planning to end the story 5 years after Alabasta, let's say, Imu, in my opinion, would be the crocodile of the Final Saga. You know how Crocodile was saying to Luffy in Alabasta after he beat him, who do you think you're ordering around? You're just a 2-bit greenhorn. Guys like you are a dime a dozen in the Grand Line. Like, that's basically what this is for Luffy. This isn't a second Sabaody, this is a second Alabasta, where Luffy now realizes, damn, I'm low-key just like Rocks, I'm low-key just like Roger, I'm low-key just like Whitebeard. I'm up here, I'm at the top of the world for the world that knows it, but for the world that doesn't know it, the world that's hidden, I'm low-key just like everybody else. Rocks lost, Roger low-key lost, Whitebeard lost. It's like, now I gotta be even better than these guys. Now I gotta prove myself as even better than these guys. And you know how he proves himself as being even better than these guys? By beating Imu. Because what you have to remember, Joy Boy is a post-time skip creation. You guys read the story and you read it as, this is chronological, this has happened 800 years ago, this is obviously the most important thing in the story. This is not the most important thing in the story. Let's be for real. These are all things that happened to bolster Luffy on his journey to his dream that he already had originally. Like, Luffy will prove himself as Joy Boy to wrap up the history part of finding the One Piece. Luffy will then need to prove himself as Roger's successor by finding the One Piece and become Pirate King, because that was his first dream in the story. Like, literally chapter 1, that's what Luffy needs to do. And even before that scene in chapter 1, Luffy will then need to prove himself as Shanks' superior, which is the third thing he needs to prove, the final thing he needs to prove, because Luffy will not be stronger than Shanks before he fights Shanks. Shanks being compared to Joy Boy, in all honesty, Shanks, like, I hated when people did this, because it's the whole, like, oh, Shanks and Joy Boy's equal, look at how strong Shanks is. But it's like, low-key, seeing how Imu didn't, like, body these guys, Shanks might be close to Joy Boy. And if Luffy surpasses Joy Boy, he then finds the One Piece. Well, actually, no. If Luffy surpasses Joy Boy, he beats Shanks, he finds the One Piece, and then he faces Blackbeard, that then completes the trifecta of things he needs to prove to be the top of the world in history. Because in beating Imu, he proves himself as Joy Boy. He is now greater than Joy Boy. Or, well, not even greater than Joy Boy, because Joy Boy 20v1 them. He's now on Joy Boy's level if he beats Imu in a 1v1. 2. He then finds the One Piece and proves himself as Roger's successor. He accomplishes the first part of his dream, because now we know that finding the One Piece isn't even Luffy's full dream. So he can find the One Piece and the story can still go on after that. 3. He then faces Shanks. He could face Shanks before or after finding the One Piece. It doesn't really matter, because Luffy's whole reason for wanting to find the One Piece to begin with is so he can prove himself as better than Shanks. So Shanks and Luffy's meetup can happen either before or after finding the One Piece. It doesn't really matter. Luffy then fighting Blackbeard. Blackbeard is the one guy that Shanks has not beaten. It's the one guy that keeps Shanks up at night. Luffy facing Shanks, beating Shanks, and then going to face Blackbeard, that will then prove him as 1, Shanks' superior, and 2, the superior of everyone in history, because Blackbeard is going to be the threat for history, in my opinion. You guys don't gotta believe what I believe. You know, you're just wrong for not believing what I believe, because, you know, objectively, Raftel King is always right until he's wrong, which, you know, we forget when he's wrong, but, you know. So, Luffy beating Blackbeard will then be the final thing he needs to do to prove himself as the greatest, the best, the biggest of all time. Because Blackbeard is going to surpass Davy Jones, who was the king of the world. He's going to surpass Imu, because Imu being a king after Jones, like for One Piece standards, the guy who did it first was the guy who did it best. Until the guy from the new gen surpassed the guy who did it before him. Like, Imu being the second up, he is going to be worse than Jones, like from a story standpoint. Because Jones, like even before Blackbeard, in all honesty, we knew Jones before we knew Blackbeard. Like Davy Jones dates all the way back to Syrup Village. Oda knew what he wanted Davy Jones to be because Davy Jones was legendary even back then. So Blackbeard now being set up to pass Davy Jones, in my mind, sets him up to pass even Imu. Luffy then beating Blackbeard would then, like that's the final hurdle he needs to jump to be the greatest of all time, to accomplish his dreams, to be the Pirate King, the freest man on the seas. So, in all honesty, this chapter, it doesn't even really break me down because, like, this doesn't even really feel like Luffy can't ever beat Imu now. Like, if he one-shot him at the start of this chapter, then I'd have to be like, damn, how is Luffy gonna beat this guy in this arc? Because he just one-tapped him. They had like a whole extended fight before he one-tapped him. So, you guys, I see why you guys were so hyped, because everybody just wants Raftel King to be wrong. Everybody just hears me clowning on them and is like, bro, just wait and see. Wait and see until you're wrong. And it's like, but I'm not wrong though. Like, Imu losing on Elbaf can still happen even after this chapter. Like, how foolish would you guys consider someone if you knew what you knew now and you went back during when Alabasta was airing, let's say YouTube was up, all the popular One Piece creators were up, and they saw this chapter, they'd be like, and you would be like, damn, Luffy just got skewered by Crocodile, bro. He's never gonna be Crocodile in Alabasta. He's gonna have to go off on this island. He's gonna have to train up a little bit, and then he's gonna have to fight Imu, or then he's gonna have to fight Crocodile again. And then it's gonna be a whole big war, and then he's gonna free Alabasta, and then Alabasta's all gonna fight Crocodile, and all the allies he made in the past are gonna come and fight Crocodile. Like, how stupid would you guys look at a dude that said that and be like, bro, I mean, Crocodile is a big antagonist. Yeah, he was set up during like Little Garden. We've had him since Baroque Works, or we've had him since what was that arc called? Whiskey Peak. We've had him since Whiskey Peak, and then it's like, but yeah, he's been built up since Whiskey Peak, since Little Garden, and now we're facing him in Alabasta. But I mean, he's a big villain, but he's still gonna lose this arc to Luffy. I mean, he beat him, sure. He's gonna beat him again, sure, but he's still gonna lose in Alabasta. It's like, that's my mindset towards Imu. The only difference is I'm pre-gaming it where you guys would be coming into the past with the information you already have. Like Wano, Egghead, Elbaf, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, Alabasta. It's literally the same thing for Crocodile. Like, you guys look at me crazy acting like Imu is supposed to be Akainu, Kizaru, Kaido. Just because he's the king of the world doesn't even really mean anything, because the title of King of the World was created for Imu a chapter before he was introduced. Like, the Empty Throne was literally introduced to us. I'm pretty sure it was introduced to us the same chapter we saw Imu for the first time. Like, these things did not exist before we saw Imu. And you guys also tell me another thing, that we need Imu to get the Void Century flashback. Before chapter 906, how did you guys think we were gonna get the Void Century flashback? How did you guys think we were gonna find out about the ancient history? Like, if Imu is what we need to get the Void Century flashback, how are we gonna get it before he got introduced? What did you guys think we were going to get for the Void Century flashback to come through? Unless you guys believe the entire time that there was some 800-year-old figure that lived through the Void Century that was still alive that would tell us what was gonna happen, which there's no reason to believe that was gonna happen. Like, everyone with common sense knew that we were gonna get the Void Century flashback on Laugh Tale. Like, we don't need Imu to get the Void Century flashback. Just like how we didn't need Kaido to get the God Valley flashback. Just like how we didn't need Whitebeard to be alive to get the Odin flashback. Just like how we didn't need to see Rayleigh talk about Roger to get Roger in the Odin flashback. It's like, these things, we can get a flashback for Imu, sure. We can see how he met Joy Boy, but I still think when we find Laugh Tale, we're gonna get the full flashback. Just like how in Elbaf, Loki's flashback with Harold and Rox, that wasn't even like concerning God Valley, and yet we got God Valley in that flashback. Once we get to Laugh Tale, we'll be seeing everything, even if it's not what the Roger Pirates saw exactly. Like, once we see Joy Boy, we're getting Joy Boy's entire history, and even the history after Joy Boy dies. Because That's just how flashbacks are written in One Piece. When we get a flashback, we get everything that we need to see. We don't need Imu to be alive to get the Void Century flashback, because Imu was never going to be how we got the flashback to begin with. Like, you guys, I get why you guys are so hyped about Imu, because if this was any other story, Imu would be the final villain. If this was, say, Naruto, he would be the final villain. If this was, say, Bleach, I mean, even if it was Bleach, this doesn't even really mean that Imu's the final villain, because we had Aizen, who everyone felt would be the main villain, but then we got Yuak, who was the final villain. Like, for One Piece, Imu isn't even, like, one of two options. He's one of, like, four. We could be Blackbeard, we could be Akainu, we could even be Shanks, we could even be Buggy. Buggy could be the last villain we face in the story, and it's like a Davy back for Mihawk to fight Zoro, that kind of thing. It's like, One Piece has so many antagonists that we need to face, that we can face, where it's like, just saying that Imu has to be the final villain because he's the king of the world, it's almost like turning your brain off and just flying on autopilot, because, like, really? That would be the most interesting thing for you? For Imu to be the last guy we face? The guy we just met 10 chapters before Wano started? The guy that literally has been hiding in the shadows, not doing anything at all for the past 800 years? The guy who Luffy will never have any actual personal beef with, because he doesn't even care about the stuff in the past. Like, Luffy doesn't care about stuff that happened in the past. He cares about what's happening right now. So Luffy won't even be fighting Imu for the reasons you guys think he's gonna be fighting Imu, which is the whole, he has to free the whole world, he has to get retribution for Joy Boy's loss. Like, if Luffy's fighting Imu, it's going to be for Luffy's own reason to fight Imu, which will be the reasons he had to fight Imu on Elbaf in the first place. So, I just don't know, man. I really don't see it, and I still don't see it after this chapter. You guys are gonna argue with me, you're gonna clown me, call me crazy, be like, oh bro, you're just coping, Copetail King, Rantail King. It's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, this chapter doesn't really do it for me, but in all honesty, this was still a good chapter. It was fire seeing the choreography. This is like a really good fight. When this fight gets animated in the anime, like when the scenes from Loki's fight with Imu to Luffy's fight with Imu get choreographed in the anime, like, it's gonna be some top tier eats, bro. We got God Valley, we got Imu pulling up for the first time. We low-key got Brook's flashback, because Brook's flashback has some good action scenes, and then we got this too. We're gonna be eating, bro. We're gonna be feasting, dog. Like, Elbaf is gonna be slow in the anime for a long time, but once it gets to that Rocks flashback, or once it gets to that first Rock scene with Loki, it's gonna be picking up from there, bro. Like, next year One Piece, it's gonna be crazy, because we're halfway through the year at this point, and Imu has now beaten Luffy. Imu has beaten Luffy at the halfway point of the year. We still got the rest of summer and winter and fall to be getting One Piece chapters. Like, this is gonna be a crazy next 6 months after this, because if Imu loses, I'm eating. If Imu doesn't lose and we still get like action scenes from the other guys going forward, we're still eating, because it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be ramping up continuously. Like, this is why I say I don't think One Piece is gonna be going on for much longer. Like, you guys try to call me crazy when I say One Piece is ending soon. One Piece is ending soon. Like, you guys believe this to be the final villain, and we just faced Luffy and beat him this chapter and had an extended fight with him. Like, if you honestly believe that Imu is going to be the final antagonist, then you can't look at me crazy when I say that One Piece is going to be ending soon. Like, it's obviously very clear, like, even regardless of the Imu stuff, that the story is starting to get to the final stage. Like, Oda said as much himself. But whenever I say that to you guys look at me like I'm crazy. Like, bro, Oda always keeps lying. He's gonna be going for like another 7 or 8 years, bro. It's like, no, Oda is serious when he says, I'm getting ready to end the story. Like, Oda can't do One Piece forever. We would like him to be able to do One Piece forever, but logically, he can't do it. And I have a feeling that these last arcs are going to be Oda's, like, dying flames, basically. Like, we saw how at a certain point in the story, the quality of the art dipped. Now we can see that it picked back up again, because the fights that we've seen for Loki and Imu, even last chapter and the chapter before that, those are like very different choreography and art style wise than even say the flashback for God Valley, like those fights. Like, Oda is definitely making these moments feel a lot grander. He's making them feel a lot more impactful, because
these are going to be impactful moments. Like, these are the dying throes of One Piece. We gotta understand that One Piece is going to be ending soon, and we need to start wrapping it up. Like, we're going to be fighting a lot more people. We're gonna be facing like a major villain, I feel anyways, every arc. Like, there are going to be big fights going on around the world, and that's another reason why I believe Imu's going to lose, because I think that Imu's death is going to be what causes the final war. When Imu dies and there's a power vacuum, everyone is going to now be chasing the top, because now everyone realizes, oh, there was a king in the first place? Well, I mean, if he's gone now, I guess there really is no one at the top anymore, because it always felt for the world government like they were demonstrable. They were the best. There was nobody who could ever come close to them. They had the admirals, they had the holy knights, they had the entire navy. But now the navy's splintering away from the government. The holy knights have now been mobilized, which Dragon says once the holy knights are mobilized, this is going to be the sign that we have to go to war. And now if Imu dies, then the world government really has no one anymore, because now they have Garling and Shamrock. Garling and Shamrock, who, from what we see in the Race to the One Piece panel, have their own separate agendas of what they want to be. Like, they may end up being antagonistic to each other after Imu dies, because now there's no one holding us together anymore. Which you guys would say, oh, that's so garbage, bro. The world government has to be like the top of the top of the top. It's like, do they really have to be the top of the top? Like, if Imu gets beaten, the Celestial Dragons aren't going to be an antagonistic force. Like, the Holy Knights will be an antagonistic force, but the Celestial Dragons that we hate, the ugly ones, the St. Charles Celestial Dragons, those aren't going to be villains to fight. They're gonna get their retribution in some other way, but it's not going to be because we're facing them in a war. Like, the world government getting defeated, it's really just the Navy. Like, when we think of who's going to be fighting in the world government side of the war, we literally always think of the admirals and Akainu, which those can just be people we face when we face the Navy. Like, we don't need Imu alive for that side of the war to happen. But I'm gonna be honest, I've been going on a really long time. I'm very surprised at how long I've been able to yap about this chapter. Like, if this was a live reaction, bro, I guarantee you this stream would probably be like 3 or 4 hours. But I'm gonna give my rating for the chapter and then I'm gonna wrap it up. I want to say, whenever I give ratings for the chapter, like, this is how I'm gonna be giving them. Like, 10 out of 10 is a chapter I think has no flaws whatsoever. I read this chapter and it's like, I can't find anything at all wrong with it. Like, I'd say 10 out of 10 chapters I would say I find are the Roger finding the One Piece one. And don't think me saying that one first means that I think Roger's some guy. Let's chill on that. So the Roger finding the One Piece one, the Shichibukai abolishment chapter, I'd say, what else? I'd say probably Bonnie's 10th birthday, like the end of the Kuma flashback. I'd say that was a 10 out of 10 chapter too. The Admiral Akainu chapter in Marineford. Another one I would say is also the final chapter for Luffy versus Lucci. Usopp versus Luffy, in my opinion, was also a 10 out of 10 chapter. And then besides that, there's not really very many more that I can think of off of just the top of my head. But those are like 10 out of 10 chapters. Any chapter like those chapters, in my opinion, is a perfect chapter. And then a 9 out of 10 would be like, say, I didn't like the choreography in the chapter. Or a 9 out of 10 would be like, say, I didn't like the dialogue, blah, blah, blah. Like, everything that I don't like going down from there, I would then say is like going down and down and down until you get to like 1 out of 10 where it's like, I like nothing at all about this chapter. Everything in this chapter was garbage. Like, this was like Oda's worst work by far. Like, you'll never see me give a One Piece chapter anything less than like a 6 or 5 out of 10. Because if I hate like more than 5 things in a chapter, it's like, Oda would have had to like fall off hard on that chapter. Like, I don't even know how bad of a fall off he would have to be for me to rate something that low. But this chapter, I'd say, the choreography was good, the dialogue was funny, because I was actually genuinely laughing when Luffy thought that Loki was dead, and Loki was like, bro, I'm still alive, what are you talking about? And Imu's just there watching it all happen. Like, that was a funny scene for me, in the midst of like what should be a deadly fight. Like, Gear 5's antics, we clown them a lot, but Loki, it works when it's able to work. It works when it's like, I don't think this would ever work in a fight against Akainu. Like, if Akainu was the one that this was happening to, I'd be like, bro, why is Akainu not jumping on him? But Imu, it makes more sense for Imu to do it because we're just getting his personality right now. Like, he could really be anything. So the choreography was good, the dialogue was good, the story was good. the end of the chapter, you know, just because Oda is gonna make me have to fight with you guys all of this break week, like, I don't know why he had to make it a break next week, bro. Because now I'm gonna have to be in the trenches facing you guys for a whole 7 days until the next chapter drops. So simply for that, I'm gonna give that like a half point off. I wish the choreography was a little bit clearer. Like, it was very good, it was very well done, but some scenes did feel like jumbled, so I will take away like 1 point slightly for that. But it's not even that really big of a deal. But I'd give this chapter overall like an 8.5 out of 10. Like, this was a very good chapter of One Piece. Like, even the ending, although it doesn't even cook my agenda necessarily, but although it makes you guys feel like it does, this was still a good way to end a chapter. And I feel like it was also a good way to make us think about what's going to happen next chapter. Because while this chapter is crazy, yes, what's going to be even crazier is what happens in next chapter. Because the next chapter has to explain why Imu doesn't just smoke everyone now. Because Loki is down and Luffy is down. Zoro and Sanji are preoccupied. Like, no one else on the Straw Hats besides maybe Jinbei and Ragnar could hope to hold off Imu right now. Maybe even Usopp does something with Ragnar. Because the next chapter is now going to be a very crazy chapter. I don't even really have any predictions on what I think could happen. Maybe I'll do that in a separate video where I do my 1189 predictions. Because now we're getting close to 1,200, which, you know, every 100 chapters is always something big that happens. So maybe 1,200 is going to be something crazy. Like, maybe even in 10 chapters, we see that Imu's still on Elbaf and Luffy goes to face him again. Like, there are so many things that I think could happen, and the fact that we're halfway through the year, I think we have like about probably 20 chapters, I think, because I think it's like 52, or not 52 chapters, it's like 40 chapters we get in a year, so I think we might have a good 20 left before the year ends. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen between now and the end of this arc, or between even now and the end of this year if we're still in Elbaf by next year. So that's it for my chapter reaction. I hope you guys enjoy the new format that I'm doing. I'm honestly getting tired of editing my videos in my old style because, one, clips are so hard to find nowadays because every anime site is getting cooked, and two, I keep reusing clips to the point where it's like, it doesn't feel as high effort as when I was doing it before. Like, I loved making videos before because it felt like my content was of a good quality or of a quality comparable to like the big guys. But now it just feels like I'm just trying to spam the same clips, where I don't like making content that I don't feel is high quality, which is why now I like doing this, because now I can upgrade the quality in a way that is, it goes up and up and up. I can get a better camera, I can get a better mic, I can get a better setup overall, I can do different things with the studio. Like, this style of format is more comfortable for me because now, like, I've recorded an hour-long video. Like, you might have been able to see like the lighting change a little bit because I recorded like most of this video earlier and then I was able to come back and record it again. Like, editing almost an hour of content took me like an hour to edit because I can just yap in one take and it all flows seamlessly. Like, everything flows well and everything looks well, and I'm sure this video was a lot more entertaining to watch than say my usual videos because now you can see the passion. Like, I hope you guys do enjoy this kind of content and I hope you guys look forward to seeing more of it. I hope this video does well and I hope you guys support it because this is going to be the way I'm going to be recording for right now, you know. I hope you guys enjoyed the face reveal. I know this is probably, you know, it's not what you was expecting, you know. I hope Raftel King looks like what you expected Raftel King to look like, you know. I hope you weren't expecting me to be some like fat old guy that is like balding, because, you know, that's kind of disrespectful to me. That would kind of hurt my feelings, but it is what it is, man. Like I said before, if you enjoyed the videos, drop a like, subscribe, and stay tuned in for more high-quality One Piece content. You guys are going to be getting videos more and more often now that I'm editing in this way, so let's stay tuned and let's keep growing, man. 3K is around the corner. Don't think I forgot the Admiral video. The Admiral video is probably going to be like, it might still be 80 minutes, but it might even be longer than that now because I can just yap and talk. So stay tuned for that one. It's probably not going to be the next video because we are close to 3K, but we're still not there yet. You know, if you want to come into the Discord and argue with me, the Discord is going to be in the comment section below. I'm always in there whenever I am able to be in there. If you want to run a debate, just at me. The guys will definitely let me know that you want me to debate them, and then they'll call me a duck if I don't debate you. So just let them know one time and they'll keep reminding me until I debate you. So that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.